And now I would like to continue with keynote speeches. Yesterday we had 2 keynote speeches and today 1 more. And I would like to introduce you Professor Petru from Open University of the Netherlands and also Babes-Bolyai University from Romania. And the title of his keynote speech today is about smart cities. So smart cities as socio-technical systems, reflections on sustainable careers. So please, dear Petru, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Živile, for the invitation and the opportunity to talk to the participants about what I think it's an interesting and modern challenge. Namely, how do we achieve sustainable careers in smart cities? So I mentioned it's a modern challenge because we are witnessing important changes that technology brings about, and we have changes in the way in which we do our work, the changes in which the environment functions, and the way in which we interact with the environment, of course. But not in the last moment we have also changes in the social interactions and the way in which we relate to each other. Now the issue that we are witnessing is that even the entire world is being instrumented and infused with technology, and cities become smart. They are forced to become smart. Now, let me first define what a smart city is, and I present here 2 approaches to the definition of what a smart city is. According to Harrison, one of the important models, the TIIM model, that defines the smart city as instrumented urban environments, interconnected systems, and intelligent systems. So we have these 3 characteristics of a smart city, composed of systems, social systems, but also technical systems that are interconnected, heavily instrumented. The data is collected in real time and processed and represented in real time. And decisions are made in a context in which the data is integrated effectively by systems with huge computational powers. Another perspective on smart cities is the Poland perspective, in which smart cities are urban environments that rely on technologies and network infrastructures to collect data, first of all, from a variety of dimensions, from traffic to infrastructure and buildings, social dynamics, and integrate this data and support decisions in real time. The second dimension, according to Alan, is also the entrepreneurial orientation of smart cities, and this is one of the key issues that I will come back to soon. The strong entrepreneurial orientation in smart urban environments. Also, smart cities are focused on environmental sustainability and really using efficiently the resources that are available. Now, a few remarks on why do we witness this shift towards smart cities and smart urban environments. First of all, because we have an increased urbanization, and the pressure to urban environments is increasing population-wise, if we look at it that way, but also because we have this push factor of technological advancement that permeates, as I mentioned, our entire lives, from the work we are doing and see the developments that the technology allowed us to implement and use during the pandemic, and the way in which we could swiftly move towards a different way of working due to the technological infusion in the workplace, but also our social life is changed. So it's no surprise that we have a technological infusion in the urban life as well. Now, a challenge that cities have, of course, is the way in which they tackle these urban modern challenges related to water supply, material waste management, the way in which pollution is managed, and also the intervention in case of accidents or hazards or incidents that impact this urban environment. And of course, then the last but not least important argument is cities attempt to become smart because they have to manage properly scarce natural resources. Now, a few examples, if you want, of smart cities, and here we have the Cities in Motion Index, a very interesting overview with a set of criteria that ranks cities according to the smartness. And typically, you have London and New York shifting continuously between the first and second place. So in 2020, the last version of the index, London took over and was ranked as the smartest city on earth. And you have, of course, the top 10 cities that you would expect. You know, the big European capitals, and of course, you have, for example, Reykjavik, which scores high, especially due to the environmental concerns and the way in which the urban policies are aligned with environmental sustainability. So you have also a variety of criteria based on which these cities are evaluated as being smart or smarter. And on the right hand side, you have a few examples just to illustrate a little bit what sort of systems are used in this smart urban environment. We have systems that monitor traffic in real time and are able to provide data and integrate data concerning options for relieving traffic in different areas. So this data is processed in real time and influence the functioning of the whole transport infrastructure. But we also have systems from the social domain, and here you have a platform for women entrepreneurs in New York. You also have building systems that allow, for example, the conservation of energy use and so on. So it's a variety of technological devices and systems that are interconnected, that are networked in a smart city, and make it function more effectively. So just to summarize some of the thoughts so far, is smart cities become smarter because they have to, and they are pushed and pulled towards that attempt on being smarter. Now, you have seen in the challenges that we faced in the last 2 years due to the global pandemic that we all witnessed. We had these systems in place in some cities, and they were really instrumental in helping to deal with this critical situation, from the management of spread and geographical locations in which infections are more prominent, to other support systems that were deployed in smart cities during the pandemic. So you see, this shift towards being smart is an effective way of also coping with unexpected events and unexpected circumstances that are challenging these modern environments. Now, we propose a particular take on smart cities, and we conceptualize them as socio-technical systems. What does it mean? It means that they have both a social dimension, and you could see the communities, you can see the neighborhoods, the people that are interacting and pretty much living their lives in the urban environment. And they also have technical components. Now, these complex socio-technical systems really have cognitive properties. That means that they process information, they acquire data, they store data, they represent data for the decision makers, and they process it in real time using again huge computational power, and they provide decision support, this is a very important issue. Now, why are these network systems put in place? In the literature on smart cities, you will have an agreement on two aims: to generate economic wealth, so to sustain this level of economic wealth, and also to create a safe environment for the citizens and really high quality of life. So cities strive to become smart. Maybe in the future we will have all cities as smart cities. That's one of the first ideas that I wanted to put forward, and actually the first premise of my talk. Now, the second premise of my talk is that we are witnessing pressures in the social domain to shift the focus from the typical classical career perspectives, the way in which people evolve in their careers, develop their paths through to the work life, and we moved from boundaryless protean kaleidoscope and so on perspectives on careers to a novel concept, and that concept is sustainable careers. And these sustainable careers are paths through one's work life that really are aimed at achieving well-being, sustainable development, personal development, but also adding value to the employer. So we would look at sustainable careers as mutually beneficial for the person and also the employer. Now, why do we witness this shift? Well, first of all, because now already, and also in the near future, that's the perspective that we see. People will have to work longer. Maybe we will in the future witness a context in which we will never retire. You don't know. We don't know. But certainly people have to work longer, so they have to be able to sustain their careers for longer intervals of time. So in a sense, they have to stay happy, healthy, productive for the employer in the first place for longer period of time. So we have this continuous pressure or challenge in a sense on how to manage the career development in such a way that this career developments and career evolution will be beneficial for the person, will keep the person happy, healthy, but also for the employer. And how can we have a sustained long-term perspective on this? So that's the second premise that I would like to put forward. So the first premise is smart cities are pushed to and pulled to become smart or smarter. And at the same time, the social developments push people to become to engage in finding ways to develop sustainable careers. So with these two premises, we set out to analyze these complex career ecosystems that smart cities create, and try to understand whether sustainable careers are possible in smart cities, in smart urban environments. So to what extent this reliance on technology, the network nature of the cities, actually sustains and supports the development and evolution of sustainable careers. And in order to do that, we use a socio-technical analysis, and we base our analysis on the old and impactful principles of socio-technical designs. You remember Emery Trist, and these are summarized in terms. I will not insist on all of them, but the core issue, the core element of the socio-technical design is that in a socio-technical system, in a system with both social and technical components, the main aim is to keep the two subsystems aligned in a state of perfect synergy. So the social system and the technical system have to engage in these synergetic relationships in a state of perfect fit. And of course, this has to be aligned with the general aim of the system. Now, we would say, but what is the aim of the smart city? I just mentioned the literature mentions two of these aims. First of all, sustained economic wealth, and the second one, the well-being of their citizens. Now, these are kind of challenging aims if you look at it, and if you look at the dynamics of the huge turbulence that is brought about by technology, we will see that this state of systemic fit is questionable. Now, in terms of socio-technical design, if you analyze the fit between the social and the technical dimensions of a system, and you identify variances, which are those instances in which the fit is not likely to happen. The variances are deviations from normal systemic functioning. You have to correct those variances when they appear. Now, in our analysis of the fit between the sustainable career pressure for individuals and the pressure to become smart for the urban environments, we identify two such variances. First of all, the first variance is that the person's smart fit is really unbalanced. So if you look at the way in which technology infuses and impacts on urban development, that will fit rather a particular category of the population of the urban citizens. That will be aligned pretty much with educated, young, ICT literate individuals. Imagine all the systems, all the technologies that allow, for example, public participation, but also the use of the technical infrastructure to optimize your work. I mean, that really relies on the capacity of the individuals, of the citizens, to really use these technological systems. Now, you have, and maybe you have already read about it, this fragmentation in cities. You have parts of the population of the urban environment that actually are not literate in using properly these technological devices in their best interest. So this raises an important challenge, and it's the first variance that I would like to put forward. The second variance is that the person's smart city fit, the fit between the careers and the smart city, is actually volatile. It's not stable. I mean, even if you look at the highly educated and young people, because of the huge dynamics and changes induced by technology, and the fact that companies come and leave when they find a better place, and they move, they outsource to other countries in which maybe costs are low. So this volatility in economic activity and turbulence generated by the environment creates a volatile environment, a volatile fit also for the literate and educated individuals. So on the one hand, we have an unbalanced fit, and on the other hand, when we have the fit, that's not really stable. So this raises many questions, and I think the most important one is how can you reconcile and sort out these variances in order to secure that state of systemic fit. So we claim in this socio-technical analysis, we claim that this support for the sustainable careers in smart cities is one of the key elements to achieve systemic fit and make the smart cities those ecosystems, career ecosystems that are conducive for sustainable careers. Now, so what would it take for such an ecosystem to really support sustainable development through career paths? But first of all, you need to focus on continuous development and learning, and this is really an important element and a message for the conference crowd, I guess, in terms of education, because that feeds into the intelligence requirement. That's one of the criteria that is mentioned in the literature as a prerequisite for the sustainable careers. Now, the second one, these people living in smart cities, they have to be on the move all the time. They have to be flexible. They have to be adaptable and really keep up with whatever reality throws at them. So that's really one of the elements, central elements of the employability. That is the second dimension that is cited in the literature about prerequisites for sustainable careers. And the third one, when people experience setbacks in their careers, they have to recover. They have to be resilient. They have to pick up the fight again and move on with their careers, even if they lost their job, even if the company left the city and they are jobless now. They cannot move. They cannot relocate in another city. They have to pick up and they have to start again. So that's that sense of resilience. We believe it's possible to be achieved through connectivity. So now we take the three prerequisites for sustainable careers: intelligence, employability, and resilience, and we tie those to three solutions that we put forward. First of all, one of the ways in which we could sort out the two variances, the unbalanced fit and the volatile fit, is to focus constantly on the continuous development of skills and talents. So this is one of the ways in which we can help people to keep up with changes, and we have to focus on continuous and smart education. Now, this is a challenge, and I'm not sure we have a solution yet. And I'm saying I'm not sure because I was a little bit surprised looking at the way in which universities that I know came back to old educational practices after the pandemic. I mean, during the pandemic, what we have seen across Europe, but not only, universities and schools, for that matter, adapted very quickly and swiftly, and in a matter of weeks, they resumed their educational process and delivered content, and students were happy. Universities I know didn't suffer in terms of academic performance from delivering online. So really, universities and schools were able to adapt rather quickly if you put things in perspective. And I know that there are critical perspectives on how education adapted, but if you put things in perspective, I guess they adapted very quickly and efficiently to what the pandemic created. But as soon as we had the feeling that we're out of the pandemic, we moved back to the old ways. I mean, if you look at I know some Romanian universities, some Dutch universities, and we had recently also in the Netherlands on the news empty lecture rooms. Students will not go back, but apparently we're back to educational principles and processes that we set out in the last century. So pretty much nothing changed. But I guess in the future, and in order to make sure that we serve these requests for continuous and smart education, we have to change, and we will have to change the way in which we think about education, the way in which we deliver education. Right now, we are focused on standards and top-down procedures. We know how the educational process should look like, how many ECTS are needed to graduate the master and the bachelor and so on. But maybe we will, in order to keep up with the labor market and the pressures for smart city development, we will really have to look at our customers, not just the students, not just the pupils, everyone in smart cities and in this smart environment will require some sort of educational plan for continuous development. Of course, the second element that I would like to emphasize is the focus on ICT literacy programs. This is one of the biggest problems in urban environments: the fragmentation and the difficulty of people with low literacy to really join in and use the infrastructure that is made available in smart cities, and also the continuous focus on skills and expertise. The second solution that we put forward to achieve that systemic fit and to sort out the imbalance and volatility of fit, we believe that citizens, the presence and participation of citizens in urban governance should be increased, and we should create these career communities as communities in which people can engage with each other, can provide and get support in order to develop their career perspectives, to sort out career setbacks when they emerge, and to be able to adapt very quickly. The third solution, it's a network-centric organization of career management, and here we, in line with other voices, believe that it is important for governmental and non-governmental organizations, public, private companies, to join forces in order to create this network that can provide support for people to really keep up with the changes, continuous changes in the smart city environment, and really be able to stay employable for longer intervals of times, and really lead a healthy work life. Now, if you look at the global model that we proposed, and here you can read more about this model and our logic and analysis in a paper that we published last year in Human Relations. We start from two premises. Cities have to become smart in order to remain sustainable and to keep up with the technological development and the pressures, and sort out the challenges that they are facing. People, on the other hand, are striving for achieving sustainable careers because they have to work longer and be better in managing their path through their work life. So we put forward this socio-technical system analysis that allows us to identify two variances, two problems in the fit between the socio-technical system, which is the smart city, and the career paths of the smart city citizens, and we put forward three possible solutions that could restore, if implemented, that could restore this state of systemic fit, and will achieve that synergy between the social part, the social systems, and the technical systems of smart cities, and will allow citizens to lead a healthy, happy, and productive work life. So, Živile, I tried to run through the presentation. I'm 4 minutes over the time, 5 minutes now.
Yeah, it was great. It was really great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your inspiring presentation. And now it's the time for questions. I saw already that in Zoom chat, we have at least one question, so I will just read it, okay? So the question was that what impact will the trend, intention to move towards smart cities, have on rural areas, environment, and nature? So we are talking about impact.
Yeah, that is a tough question, and there are various plausible answers to this and perspectives. One view is the segregation. So one perspective would say that the pace at which cities incorporate technology in the urban space is much faster than the pace at which rural areas will keep up with technology or really absorb technology in their functioning. So this gap will increase in time. That's one of the perspectives. So you could argue that these the technological developments will widen the gap between urban and rural environments, which is a problem for the economical development, of course, and also for the mobility across areas. The second perspective would be that actually also urban Also rural environments would benefit from smart technology. And if you look at some of the experiments that are done with, for example, smart commuting, having these autonomous driven cars that will allow citizens to move in order to prevent congestion and overcrowded roads. These experiments very often happen in smaller communities, smaller cities, and it is a possibility that we will have also an infusion in the rural areas and the use of technology. Certainly, the technical solutions for dealing with urban challenges in terms of waste management, for example, pollution, I think are implementable in rural areas as well. So the question is, whether we will really witness this, or we will evolve in a direction that is supported by the first logic, that this gap between urban smartness and rural smartness will increase further.
Okay, so one more question is also again coming from Zoom. Maybe it would be the question. So it's the question from Vera. So when it comes to the new ways of arranging the education system, our brain still develops for the same phases it has been doing all through the centuries. What is the new we could introduce in terms of education strategies, additionally to these that have proven themselves right already? About education systems, about something new.
It's a tricky question. I do think technology triggers changes in the brain, and you have research showing changes in the prefrontal areas that are associated with the intensity of technology use. And so I do think technology changes the brain. I've seen it in research. I mean, it's not that I believe that, it's just that I've seen it shown in research. So it could be, one of the things, for example, is the attention span. So you have this smaller attention span associated also with the capacity of shifting very quickly across tasks. So that's one of the cognitive changes that is associated with technology use, and maybe we will have to take into account that the way in which we deliver education should fit these new tendencies in students. With respect to educational systems, I do not have an answer, and I do think we all have to find an answer and a solution to this.
Maybe it's the topic for the next conference, for the next research, for the next paper.
That can be. But I do think, looking at the way in which universities came back after COVID, after the pandemic, I have doubts that we learned something.
Yeah, it's really a very tough question, but I think that we will see something again in winter period, maybe in winter period again changes, in summer period we will come back, so nobody knows how it will work. Okay, thank you very much for your inspiring presentation again. Thanks for being with us today on Friday in the morning.